Welcome to another episode of the Love Not Fear podcast. Eduard, what's our topic?
Today, I'd like to talk about should versus must.
I only want. I must do this. I have to do this. No, I want to do these things. I don't have to do my homework. I want to do my homework to get better at X, Y, Z.
hmm
This was also my. I went to 14 different schools. I got kicked out everywhere. I only did the things that I wanted to do. I didn't go under the fear pressure of school. You must do that. So yeah, I only want to do
Isn't that
things.
isn't that like complete enlightenment if you if you can leave should behind and only do what want?
Yeah,
That's
want.
like
Yeah,
okay, the next level.
yeah.
But I think
I only have to do one thing: is die at some point. But everything else, I should only
yeah,
want.
yeah, it's it's a question that helps identify the validity of obligations and expectations, I guess. And by
Hmm.
asking what should I do, you can challenge the authority of the relevance of these things and what comes from internal, what comes from external. So what
Hmm.
motivates you. So it's always everybody knows the benefit of maybe yeah not
Exercising.
exercise, simple things like that, or reading, or pick up the phone to call your mother, although you might not want to do that all the time. So we've learned that, but it's the discussion between these two. What is externally motive? What are external motivators and what are internal motivators?
I guess like external motivators are, I should or I have to file my taxes.
hmm
But I think it's all like coming then from a place of fear, like, oh, I have to, otherwise I get into trouble. No, I want to do this because, I mean,
See how you talk your way out of this one, David. Love, not fear, and taxes.
no, I want to do this because otherwise it's going to be a headache afterwards.
Yeah.
I want
So for the
to
love of
act,
yourself and sanity. Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
because I know, like if you
Yeah.
have a lump somewhere, I want to get this examined,
hmm
so I prevent
Yeah.
havoc later down the road, So I think that's kind of always, if you frame it in a sense of like, hey, I want to do this because then I know the potential consequences.
Yeah.
I
It's
think it's much healthier versus like, "Oh, I have to do this.
yeah.
No.
Well, look at the things that are blocking your goals and desires for achieving those goals. So anything that stands in the way, you can still approach from a position of love instead of fear.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm. So and does it clarify vision and passion if you ask what do I want?
I think it's really important to ask what do you really want, because otherwise you just keep up with the Joneses, or
hmm
you leave in the wind.
Yeah.
But if you sit down and figure out like, what is it that I really want? What is it that I really want to change in the world? What is it that floats my boat?
Yeah.
Then you can make the right decisions, and it's easier to act out of love and not just be driven by fears.
I have trouble with I like to change. I what I want changes a lot, and sometimes
Mhm.
I'm okay with that, and sometimes I'm really frustrated. Like I didn't do research well enough, or I didn't let it sink
Hmm.
and simmer or evaluate. So I don't.
I think there's
Yeah.
the. Did you read the book The Dip by what's his name? Seth Godin. So Seth Godin's book The Dip. He
Seth
talks
Godin.
about
Okay.
that
Yeah.
it
Yeah. Yeah.
becomes when you make a decision to do something, like start this new business, do this new thing. It's going to be exciting at the beginning, but then there's always going to become the dip where it's going to get hard. And
hmm
when you go into things, be willing to grind through the dip.
Yeah.
I
But
think this.
the dip can be less deep if you really look at why you want it.
Yes, of course, of course. Like
So
if
yeah.
Yeah,
People are
define
able to do crazy stuff. I mean, if your daughter would be in trouble, you walk through fire
fire.
to
Yeah,
do that.
without blinking. Yes.
Yeah, and then probably be less burnt than if you had no purpose and do the same thing.
Oh yeah, of course. Like
Also,
if you define the goal, always like ideally combine it with an emotional why.
yeah,
Yeah, if you, I want a million, I think we talked about this before. I want a
mm,
million dollars. Like it's just a number on your bank account, doesn't really change anything. But I want a million dollars so I can pay off my parents' house,
yeah,
so I can do X, Y, Z. Completely
yeah.
different ballgame.
You probably get a lot of buy-in from people to help you achieve that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, also like
we spoke
when
about this about yeah, being very explicit about what you want and telling other people, and things start happening and come on your way. Okay, we'll talk about this topic. The question is, what is good for me? We were talking about
must.
versus must. So this topic is interesting because what is good for me focus me on what is beneficial and helps living yeah, happy, fulfilled life. And focusing on that, yeah, they if you focus on that, you I think your actions will start to align with your values and principles. Yeah.
Yeah, also, if even if you do the things, I should go to the gym or I must. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's once you do it and you build the habit, it becomes easier. And you also, for example, I got up at 6 a.m. this morning and worked out with my trainer, and he was pushing me really hard. And it's not necessarily that I enjoy doing. I do not enjoy the pain of working out, but I enjoy the results afterwards. I feel good, once I got like negative
Yeah.
hormones out, and I like the result that my body is much much fitter. But like the process
Yeah.
itself, I do not really enjoy.
What for sure, but a lot of people try something for a while and then they say, okay, this is not for me, and leave it all, then abandon the plan altogether. I found it really beneficial if you're kind to yourself, if you don't have any yeah, some many of my rules that I live by are not set in stone. So I just, okay, for instance, I try not to drink any alcohol in on weekdays, but when I do, it's a deliberate choice, and I'm okay with that because in the end, this is something I can keep up for years if I don't throw away the whole rule altogether.
Hmm.
It's the same about exercise. It's the same about anything that's good for you. Be if you're kind to yourself and you're okay if you messed up the program and not really frustrated and agitated by that, then you can continue much longer.
Two thoughts on this. Like one, I used the word try. I try to not drink. It's like
Yeah.
trying is the most inefficient way not to do something. And I think trying often comes from a place of fear. Like I think I cannot really do it, or I try to lose weight, or I try to quit smoking. Where it's kind of like just like leaning in, saying like, okay, I do the 100%. And I think we talked about this. Not doing something 99% is harder than doing it 100%, or
Hmm.
not doing it 100%. But I totally agree. Like if I aim on doing something, I want to do XYZ, I do not want to drink, but then I do drink, be kind to yourself and get back on on the horse and say like, okay,
Yeah.
was a slip, but I'm back on like good behavior and I'm not doing it again.
Yeah.
Versus just like beating yourself up. Like nobody, like as we talked about this in the last episode, the one before. Like be the good coach that builds you up. Be the white wizard with your words,
Yeah.
versus yeah, beating yourself up.
Yeah. You always have a choice. And the choice is the question that helps you review and break agreements that you made with yourself and others. And so by looking at choices and when they no longer serve you, um, then you can free yourself from limiting stories that create guilt and resentment, and then choose for freedom. So for purpose of the big goal, I'd like not to beat myself up on minor flaws, but I do agree with you. It's a very interesting topic that about the 100% and the 90%, 99%. Yeah.
So another thing, my friend Patrick Campbell, who started Profitwell, maybe some of the audience know it. He sold it for a lot of money recently, and I saw a tweet from him yesterday. I just pulled it up. He says the rule of 100 is one of the most important concepts in doing everything. When you try something, commit to 100 of them. That's where you'll start seeing traction. For example, with podcasts, like, oh, we do it, we put it out there, we're like, I don't
Yeah,
know, like 10 plus, but
yeah,
not that 100. But do it for 100 times, and then
yeah.
you see some traction, and you get like way better at it than you were at the beginning. I think it's a really cool thing. He said, like, on my 97th YouTube video, he crossed 1,000 subscribers, and the video went quote unquote baby viral. It was like 50,000 views or 45,000 views.
Okay.
But the idea is, like, if you do something, if you hire a personal trainer, like, just stick to it, do it 100 times if you decide, and also talking about the dip, like, be willing to do something, like grind through doing it 100 times. If you think like, oh, I want to try this thing,
Yeah,
but I don't see myself like being willing to do it 100 times, I think maybe you should not
yeah.
even start doing it.
Wow, this topic has been elaborated on by so many authors. There's so many books about this, about when to give up or not give up, and when are you crazy, and
Mm.
when is trying a form of life, and is that bad? I mean, we we're here on this earth for a little while, and we stumble forward. Is that a bad thing? So it's yeah, zooming in, zooming out. It's very interesting to. We might do a special one on this very
Mm.
topic. Yeah, there's
So,
so much ground to cover.
so how about the takeaway for this one is, like, pick something you really want to do and commit to doing it for 100 times and let us know what it is.
Ooh, I like it. Great.
Awesome. Shout out to Patrick Campbell. Thank you for that post.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.
Okay. Ciao.